So let me get this straight. Apparently, from what I've read, they are, if you remember, a few years back, there was a big controversy about the name and likeness of the Washington Redskins football team in the NFL. There was a big controversy about it. They made a big deal about it, how all the Native Americans were offended by the name and offended by the likeness, and they changed the name. For a while, they were called the Washington football team before they settled upon the Washington Commanders. Whatever, right? So, the other day, I'm just scrolling on social media and I stumble on this page. I guess they're pretty legit. They have a gold check instead of a blue check. So they have a gold check. So I'm like, damn, let me check it. So it reads breaking. Over 150,000 fans have signed a petition to change the Commanders team name back to the Redskins. There has been a very strong push from the Native American community to bring the iconic team name back. The team recently unveiled new Super Bowl era uniforms. Okay, okay. So let me get this. Let me get this right. Let me get this straight. So, well, first, my question is this. So, who originally was offended by the name? I don't understand the logic. So first they were offended and now they're not. So the same people that were offended before, all of a sudden now it's all good. We can bring it back. Can somebody please make this make sense to me, please? Like I'm asking, does anybody? Now I didn't go into details and I didn't like dig into the take a deep dive into the article. I don't know if it's like legit or not. Like a lot of things on the internet, I really don't tend to believe. I believe what's in front of me. I believe what I see that's in front of me. Everything else is just whatever. So, but to get back to that, I just don't understand how it can be all good. The only thing I can get out of that is if it doesn't make dollars, it doesn't make sense. So basically, they probably, I don't know, I'm sure they took a financial hit. I'm sure their bottom line was affected by the name change, and everybody, people love tradition. They don't like to see things change. They don't like to, leave it as it is. They did the same thing with the Cleveland Indians. They changed the name to the Guardians. I'm sorry, it's my own home team, and I can't even think of the name of it. But whatever. People don't like change. They like to keep things as it is because they're afraid of change. So I get it. Like I understand that part. And me personally, I really don't care. I don't care about the team names or whatever. I really don't. It doesn't offend me. I really don't care. But I can see how it might offend some people. Me personally, I don't take shit personally, so it doesn't really matter to me. But what was I saying? I lost my damn train of thought up in here. But anyway, so oh yeah, I was talking about the money. So okay, so last year the team had some probably the most success that they've had in quite a while. They had a pretty good record. I think they had a pretty decent playoff run. I think they made it to like the semifinal or something like that or whatever. They was close. They did good. They had a good season, good record. Uh, so I think they took a step back and they're looking at okay, so they're on the upward uh, trajectory, I guess. They're they're doing good. You know, they got a decent team. They seem like they're going to probably be okay this year. So they're like, oh, you know, what better thing to do than to bring back the old name? You know, bring back the traditional name. So guess what's going to happen behind that? Ticket prices are going to go up. Tickets, you know, they're hoping ticket sales will go up. So it's really all about the money. It's never about, they don't care about who they offend or you know who it bothers. They never cared about that in the first place. You know, they make these things up as they go along. They have to. They have to. I don't know. Like I said, it makes me wonder. Like, so who was complaining about it in the first place? Was it the Native American community? Did they just make this up? Like, who was complaining about it? Who had a problem with these names? And you know, I mean, other the Indians logo was actually, I could see that. I could see that being kind of offensive, but that's kind of like a caricature, like a, you know. I mean, it's a little crazy looking. I ain't gonna lie, but I mean, whatever, man. Chief Wahoo. Everybody loves Chief Wahoo, and that's fine. But you know, whatever, man. People still wear it. Like people, I still got old Cleveland Indians stuff. I'll still wear it. You know, hats and T-shirts, and still got the old logo. Nobody says a word. Nobody says anything. Nobody says, "Hey, man, take that shirt off. It's got the old logo on it, man. That's offensive." Nobody ever says that. so, so nobody cares. No one cares, really. They care about that money. And when it makes dollars, it makes sense, and that's the only thing they worried about. So they probably changed it back to the Washington Redskins, and everybody will cheer and be happy. And then in a couple years, somebody might say something that they're offended again. I don't know, man. Whatever, whatever, man. They're gonna do what they want to do regardless. People gonna tune in. They're gonna buy tickets. They're gonna watch it. They're gonna support it regardless of the name, the likeness. You could put, I don't know, man. I ain't even about to say it, but you get what I mean. So with that being said, man, guys, y'all let me know what you think, what y'all think about this potential name change back to the old Washington Redskins, and how y'all feel about it, man. Do y'all think it's a bunch of BS? Do y'all think like, oh, it should go back? I mean, personally, don't care, you know. But it is a topic, you know, and it is definitely something that should probably, I don't want to say paid attention to, but it's one of those things that let us know that this is a weird, crazy, confusing time, and not just in just America, let alone the world. You know, they're gonna do what they want to do, control what they want to control, and as long as they got the money, they don't care. They don't care, man. You could have a naked picture of a woman on the side of the helmets, and as long as they winning and generating money, they don't care. It don't matter. You know, some women will be like offended by it, and they'll have rallies and you know, protests, and you know, they'll put stuff down on the field and respect women's bodies. You know, it shouldn't be on the side of a helmet, shit like that. They don't know, man. They just it's like they ride a wave. You know, just the same thing with the racism stuff. You know, just you know, they put the end racism on the side of the field, or in the end zone, or on the, you know, on the back of the helmet and whatever. You know, they do all these things in sports to try to, you know, but then they complain about Kaepernick taking the knee. They like, oh, he shouldn't take a knee. That's disrespecting the military. For what? How is it disrespecting the military? Or they say, oh, it's disrespecting the flag. You know, always this is always something. It's always gonna be something that causes controversy, and it's a bunch of nothing that don't mean shit. It doesn't mean shit. Long as they make that money, they don't give a damn. So like I said, man, you know, when I was younger, man, I was watching sports. I watch sports a little differently than I watch now. and it doesn't really make much difference to me now. Like I'm grown, man. I'm old enough to be most of their fathers, man. So I don't really like I don't look up to them because they kids to me. So I can't look up to these kids. I mean, I can appreciate the athleticism and and the art of it. Like I'm a big boxing fan, so I can appreciate the work that goes into it and the effort that they make and uh, it's a lot of hard work and dedication that goes into these sports and stuff like that. So I respect it, but at the same time, I don't watch it with the same eye that I did when I was younger. When I was younger, man, I'll go outside and emulate it. Everybody go out there and Jordan, Kobe. So but as you get older, like you don't go out there doing that. I'm a grown ass man, so what I'm looking like going out there talking about LeBron, or, Ja Morant or whatever. Like man, they good they great athletes. I respect what they do, and and I tune in from time to time, man, because I still enjoy sports. I still you know try to maintain some level of activity just for what I'm saying, just for my own personal fitness, but at the same time, you know, I watch it with a different eye. So with that being said, what is all this stuff popping up on my screen? Sorry, y'all. Sorry about that. But like I'm shooting a video and they want to just pop stuff up on my screen like, hey, look, renew this. And I ain't renewing shit. You better leave me a fuck alone. You understand? But anyway, damn it, I hate when I lose my train of thought like that. That sucks. But anyway, getting back to the point that I was making before I was really interrupted by these pop-ups. Yeah, man. So, what y'all think, man? Y'all think they should go back to the Redskins? You think they should put that back on the helmet? Put the I always thought the logo was kind of hard, actually, man. I thought it was pretty powerful. I always liked the old logo, man, like the chief, the old like Indian chief or whatever, man. He looked like a tough warrior, like a. So I ain't ever really think that was disrespectful. Maybe the name could have been a little bit disrespectful, but at the same time, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, people gonna feel how they feel. It's probably gonna be some people that still offended and still think they shouldn't use it, and whatever, man. As long as it makes that money, they're gonna go with whatever it is that they feel like doing. As long as it makes sense and that bottom line is where they want it to be, then it's gonna be what it's gonna be. So with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and cut this one off. But man, I appreciate you for tuning in and listening. And any comments or whatever, please feel free to leave them and like, subscribe, and all that stuff. And we'll keep we can keep this discussion going. And yeah, man. But anyway, like I always say, man, y'all be easy. Yeah.